What's up, everybody? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, September 23rd, 2018. Welcome to the live stream. Gonna do some technical analysis. If you're a replay viewer, as always, I will put a timestamp in the comment below. I'm gonna give it just a few minutes, get maybe some people in here, but we're gonna look at Bitcoin and we're gonna look at Litecoin in this video, in this technical analysis. We're really gonna take a deeper look into the consolidation that has happened with Bitcoin, what that might mean for Bitcoin at its breaking point. We're going to look at a symmetrical triangle in the daily chart, and we're also going to look at what this means possibly for Litecoin. So going into this week, I think we'll have some good context at least to keep an eye out for some things going on. So what's up, everybody? We have some people in the house. Drew Blood 21. What's up, man? How's it going, brother? Good to see you, man. Assad, Josh, Crypto Naim, what's up? We have UK. UK is here. Hey, Ricky Bobby. Scottish Bull, will Litecoin ever go above $100 again so I can at least break even on my investments? Look at that. I just got a notification. Poseidon Lou retweeting that we're live, baby. I love you guys. Are we ever going to get above $100? Could you imagine a world where Litecoin just never gets above $100? Could you imagine the heartbroken folks out there in the world if Litecoin never broke $100 again? I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get above $100 again. I'm pretty sure we will. Unless cryptocurrency desperately fails in the coming months, I think we'll get there. It's going to rely on some money pouring into the market and some volume, but it's all good. If you look back, if you zoom out on the charts, this isn't new. Like the movement of where we are right now, this isn't new, and I think that's probably really important. And I don't talk about that enough. The years of growth that Bitcoin has seen, Litecoin, this movement that we have right now, and this consolidation even at the end of this crazy, 80% downturn in the market, you could say, is not anything new, right? And I think a majority of people right now are new in these types of markets. So they're learning about what this feels like, and they're learning how to handle it from a monetary standpoint and also from a mental standpoint, I guess I should say. Somebody said, Ironhead Mafia said, "You look happy today." That's a good thing. I'm always happy. Come on now. All right, so I'm just gonna jump into the technical analysis. Me and Sarah, we have to run out, and we're gonna go hang out with my mom a little bit, just chill out today. So I wanted to do a nice little live stream and really just kind of get a sense of where we are to start this week. So let's start. We're starting on the this is the weekly Bitcoin chart, just because I want to point out an overview of what we're going to talk about. So we've talked about this channel that we've been in, right? This sideways trading, you can call it consolidation channel that Bitcoin has been in. We've talked about this range down here, the $5,500 to $3,000 range that I've been talking about for months now, and really that's at the potential break of this sideways channel. That's that next target, and for me, everybody knows a very high higher volume accumulation area for myself. So we're going to talk about really this channel that we're in, and also the symmetrical triangle that has formed within that sideways trading channel. And then really you can really get a sense on the stock R side, the indecisiveness of the market. It's crazy. We've talked about that before. Not going to really talk too much about that right now, but you can just get a sense, just a nice illustration of this channel that we're in right now. So we can go over to the daily, and actually before we go to the daily, I have this chart up as well. Just, in case you missed it the other night, we talked about this. So here's that sideways channel that we're in right now. You can see it up here to the top right of the screen. And then back here is the bear market. And, I've likened the two similarities, these sideways channels, because mainly in that bear market a few years ago, it did signify the bottom. It was a very long bottom, right? But it was the bottom. So right now it's something to mainly keenly be aware of. Possible bottom, sideways channel, very similar to bear market. Again, I mean, look at the similarities in the market. So this is partly why I say, hey, this isn't the first time we've been here, right? So zoom out on the charts, everybody. I think if I could do like a 30-second technical analysis, it would just be to zoom out on the charts. That's it. And then we could talk about that for 20 seconds, and then we can go about our day. But we're gonna zoom in on the charts a little bit, really get an idea, because I know everybody's watching the charts just like I am on a day-to-day basis. So I have some notes. I'll go through everything that's on the screen, so maybe look a little confusing right now, but it's really pretty simple stuff. You can see right now, and I'm pretty zoomed in on the daily chart because I really want to just go over. You can see the orange lines, right? So starting here, starting down here. Really, this is the symmetrical triangle that we're currently in, that we've entered, where to get a symmetrical triangle, there's really a couple rules. Mainly, you need at least 2 lower highs, you need at least 2 higher lows to form that triangle, right? And then from there, you look for a breaking point. A general rule of thumb is the fact that literally nobody in any symmetrical triangle, in any trading market ever, knows which way it's going to break. So we're in an interesting area for many reasons in this symmetrical triangle. Number one, because we're right in the middle of the triangle, right? We're not even testing the upper end or the bottom end of a triangle, those resistance and support areas, but we're right in the middle. Number two, we're around 68% to the apex. So if you've seen me do videos on symmetrical triangles before, we all know that the average breakout area is right around that 75% or 3/4 to the apex of the triangle. So we're in an interesting area because we're in the middle of the triangle, right? And then the apex, the 75% to the apex, would bring us to, and this is like give or take, okay? This is October 2nd. This doesn't mean we're going to break out then, or either way, it could happen earlier, it could happen after. But the point is, you see the squeezing has taken effect, right? And probably the reason why the average is 75% to the apex is because look how tight it gets at the end of this triangle, right? It's going to break one way or the other. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So all this consolidation that's taken place, right? We've run the Fibonacci's over and over from these swing highs to swing lows. We've hit great targets in those channels of 618 to 786 on the Fibonacci, right? Like resistance there and back down. And that type of thing has happened over and over, but it's really played into the story of this symmetrical triangle that we're currently in. So right now, we have a few things to look at. And what is interesting is if you can kind of compare it to a symmetrical triangle that happened previously before the one that we're in. And some things I kind of took note of, which I found interesting. And this is the way I like to do my technical analysis, is based upon, if you take data points of Bitcoin, of Litecoin, any cryptocurrency, right, in the past, especially ones like Bitcoin that have years and years and years of data points, and you just look and study at how they move, right? Where are the resistance areas? Where are the consolidation areas? If you look at these things, those are like the biggest sweet spots for me. That's what I look at. And sometimes, I find them, and sometimes I have to dig a little bit more. But like, here's one just for an example. If you look back at this previous symmetrical triangle, right? These higher highs, higher lows that Bitcoin had, right? Until it broke. So there it is. Lower highs, higher lows, until it broke down. One thing I found interesting is you can see 64% to the apex. I was kind of looking where were we seeing, what was happening at that 50 EMA. Everybody in here most likely knows I'm a big fan of moving averages. I use it, it's probably the foundation that's intertwined throughout all my technical analysis, is that 50 and the 200 EMA on the daily charts. So what was happening in terms of that 50 EMA? And one thing I found, 64% to the apex, which is right here, is Bitcoin didn't see any type of support above the 50 EMA, right? And then we kind of cruised down, we hit the bottom of the trend line, and then we actually broke below. So looking now, what's interesting is the fact that we're around 68% to the apex, very close to 64%. And you can see right now we're doing the same type of deal that we were doing back here is we're kind of having a little dance. Bitcoin's having a little dance with this 50 EMA right here, right? We broke it, then we kind of came below it real quick, and now we're just like hugging it right now, the 50 EMA. So we're at like this very critical area, in my opinion, in Bitcoin in terms of really seeing if we can find support above the 50 EMA at this point of this symmetrical triangle. And instead of getting this break down, right, like we did back here, break down through the triangle, perhaps we can find some support right around this 50 EMA and actually, see something different where we get a break up, a confirmed break out of the top of the triangle. It would be awesome. It would be, everybody would be throwing a party if Bitcoin does that and then breaks this previous lower high and then this previous lower high. Those will be price targets in a situation like that, but only time will tell, right? Nobody actually knows what's going to happen. For me personally, if we get a breakdown, I just want to talk about this, a breakdown, a price target for me would be right around the $5,000 area as a next area of support. So if Bitcoin doesn't see support at this 50 EMA and, say come the 75% to the apex a little before, after we break through the triangle, my next support area would be around $5,000. I've been talking a lot about that mainly because for me, in terms of these breaks that Bitcoin does get on the downside, I really I look for that overextension from the 200 EMA. So for this scenario, we can see the 200 EMA, which is this pink line up here, an overextension. If we get a break, that $5,000 area is right around 30%, right? A little bit over 30%. So 25 to 30% is kind of where, in my opinion, we'll see a bounce of support for Bitcoin and then maybe a new type of consolidation pattern, new type of symmetrical triangle or something forming at that area. And really, it's similar to what happened when we broke this last symmetrical triangle, right? You can see we can even take the 200 EMA to where it broke to, boom, 31%, and then we have this new triangle forming. So really good area for Bitcoin in terms of if you're looking for where will support be if we break down. If we get those, a couple red days where everybody's freaking out, panicking, for me, I would say from a $6,600 area, that would be right around $5,000 area of next support. That is the beginning of amazing accumulation for me. That's not financial advice, but that's just, something I'm going to be looking out for. So, moving on, we can talk about Litecoin a little bit, and just want to say hi to some people. We have Jim Flanagan. What's up, dude? Cara Belfast says, yo, Dan, Stephen McCoy, Amy Garside. What's up, everybody? I just wanted to cruise over here. We have somebody saying $1,000 Bitcoin by next August, or $1,000 Litecoin by next August, okay. Edit name says we hit $63 last night. We did hit $63, like briefly, but what I was really looking for was a break above it, and we stay above it. Definitely not a wick above it. That's really not intriguing to me at all. Wendell, what's up, man? How's it going? Wendell is in the house. So we can take everything we just talked about for Bitcoin, right? So we looked at potential downside for Bitcoin, and we looked at obviously next areas of resistance if we do break on the upside of this triangle. But right now we can talk about Litecoin. What does this mean for Litecoin? And, there's not too much really to be said other than if you're tracking Litecoin, what's up, S-Waves? How's it going? If you're tracking Litecoin, you have to be tracking Bitcoin closely. You have to be looking at that symmetrical triangle. You have to be looking at how Bitcoin's moving. But what's awesome is there's a lot of synergy at play in terms of those things. So right now, we can start for laying the framework for technical analysis for Litecoin is to say we've been tracking these bear flags, right? These wedges that have formed higher highs, higher lows, break down over and over again. And everybody knows, and this is probably why Edit Name was just talking about the $63 area, is simply because we really had that as an area of resistance leading up to, and there it is, there's that wick, boom. We wicked up to the $63 area. We wicked through that 50 EMA, and then just like we talked about before all of this began, is just seeing that resistance as we approach that area, right at that 50 EMA. Again, resistance again. Litecoin destroyed again by the 50 EMA. So the question is, how many times can that possibly happen before Litecoin actually breaks through up above the 50 EMA and we get a turn in the market? Well, your answer really lies in, well, when's Bitcoin going to break through up above something like that continuation pattern, that symmetrical triangle that we have? So if Bitcoin essentially gets a break, we can look over the next week. This is going to be really interesting. If we look over the next week and we get a break above, then you're going to see Litecoin probably getting a break above the 50 EMA finally. So we have a $4.99 Crypto Angels super chat says, "Sup, bro? Thanks for that interview." What's up, man? Dude, it was really, really fun doing that. Wish we could have spent more time hanging out and talking a little bit, but thank you for doing that interview. That was really cool, man. We really appreciated it. You probably could have got Sarah on board to help with the interview, but it was really nice meeting you as well. And thank you for the super chat, Crypto Angels. You're awesome. You are the man. So here we go. We have a few things happening in terms of Litecoin. Thanks for the subscription, James Gormally. So a few things happening. We have this 25%, right, from where we are. And the reason I have that there on the screen right now is mainly because what we just talked about with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks down, right, from these areas, and we're seeing a 25% decrease in the market, that's going to bring us to that $5,000 on the downside target. So it's really important to keep that in the back of your mind for Litecoin as well. So from these areas where we are now, 25% decrease in the market, right, for Litecoin would bring us to around a $45 Litecoin. So you need to have this strategy in the back of your head. I'm not saying you have to go tweet about it or tell everybody you think Litecoin's going down to $45, but if you really want to do best by yourself, what you want to do is be prepared for a $45 Litecoin on the short to midterm right now. It's extremely important to be prepared for that. And everybody knows anything under $50, so $50 right here for Litecoin, for me, is awesome accumulation. If we get a 25% downturn in the market right now, people are going to be freaking out. I personally will be buying. If we get like these 12% plus red days in the near future, I will be buying that fear. Mark my words. That's not financial advice, but I'm just letting everybody know that's what I will be doing. So from that 25% area, something to notice is and this is why I say it's very synergistic with Bitcoin. Litecoin technical analysis is working right now, even with Bitcoin, even though the charts look way different, because if we get a downturn in the market, we'll have that price target, right? This is really cool, of this flag breaking. We take the height of this flag, we measure where it breaks down, right? And you can see it takes us right to, at this point, as of today, tomorrow, 25%, right? And that takes us right to the $45 area. So just be ready for something like that to happen. I'm not sitting here saying I think it's going to happen, but everybody knows I'm always trying to prep to buy the dip, so be ready for that. I accumulate slowly at any level, really. So I could be buying Bitcoin, I could be buying Litecoin right now, yesterday, the day before, at smaller levels. When I accumulate at higher levels, it will be in a situation like this when if the market actually goes down to, say, a $45 Litecoin and we're down 25%, and we're in this next leg down of Bitcoin and Litecoin, and everybody's freaking out. That's when I'm actually usually buying heavier, is at those levels. On the upside, I also do buy heavy, but it takes way more caution and way more setup for me to do something like that. Just to give a quick example, it would look something like Litecoin breaking above the 50 EMA finally for the first time since like May, right? So for the first time in 6 months, Litecoin breaking above, and this isn't a FOMO buy, right? This is more of a confirmation of a possible uptrend coming by. So I would look for a 50 EMA break, and then I would even look for further consolidation above the 50 EMA, support at the 50 EMA. This could take a few days, this could take a week. And once I start seeing that, right, and I start seeing some higher highs and higher lows, that's when I'll start to buy a little bit heavier on the way up. But until that happens, until we get that like swing, right, and the 50 EMA starts swinging up, I'm really not going to be accumulating on the way up. And that's to say, even in these wedges that we're in, we get these nice daily candles. I feel like I know a lot of people are starting to buy maybe a little bit of FOMO. I'm not, just because I don't see anything intriguing happening even when we have these really nice uptrends in the market, because they keep failing, right? They've been failing for 6 months. So why would I think that all of a sudden this is the beginning of the massive breakout everybody wants? I will not be convinced until we break this 50 EMA and see support above the 50 EMA for Litecoin. So that's really what I'm looking at on Litecoin. One thing I do want to point out, I guess, to wrap up this technical analysis, is you can see, and I even have little arrows here, every time we've been in this overbought area for Litecoin, this is basically when the wedge sees resistance on the upper end of the wedge, and then we bounce down. So right now, you can see we are overbought on the stock RSI, and you just kind of want to be really, really careful in this area. And I know the chart is so messy, but be really careful in this area, because same thing happened. History does tend to repeat itself in cryptocurrency, in charting in general, for any markets, until it doesn't. And that moment it doesn't, nobody knows when that will happen, but that moment it doesn't repeat itself, right? So in this example, the moment that, say, Litecoin doesn't come back down on the stock RSI, but actually breaks the 50 EMA, that's when we start seeing some slight confirmation of that bull market that everybody wants. But right now, hasn't happened. So right now, I'm kind of strongly anticipating some resistance, continued resistance at this area. And at the very least for Litecoin, I would not be the slightest bit surprised if Litecoin sees us coming back down at least another 10% in the next few days, and possibly $55, sub $55, to test the bottom of this wedge. Doesn't need to be a doomsday scenario, but the market could be going down again before it actually decides that maybe it will break up. So just be prepared for all those scenarios. I know that's not the most bullish thing, but right now, to wrap it all up, Bitcoin is definitely getting ready to make a move one way or the other. And what's also interesting is if you take the price range actually of where we are in this triangle, right? So you can take like kind of right there to the bottom, we're within a 16% margin. We're in a 16% window of consolidation right now. So Bitcoin really can't move that much on the upside or downside before actually really testing an upper resistance or a downward support area. So getting very close. I think interesting things are going to happen. Hopefully, it's not interesting things like this when we broke on the downside of that last triangle. And hopefully, it's some interesting things like this where we see support above the 50 EMA and we're starting to break, $7,000, $8,000, and we're testing these areas and the market's turning around. That's what I want. Trust me, that is what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. And those are my thoughts for Litecoin and Bitcoin. Technical analysis. Oh man, I feel like I just talked a lot. So Gemini in October, somebody says. What's up, Tups? Tups T, what's up, man? Hamakar Roldan says, Dan, you need to study the LTC BTC, more bullish there. We should do. I did finally do a video on that a few weeks ago. I should do another one. And really, I know a lot of you like to see the LTC BTC chart, and it really is interesting to look at. I would agree. Litecoin is looking actually more bullish there than it is in the LTC USD. So that could be an interesting area to look at too. So nice support down here. And we talked about it. When Litecoin does decide to explode, I think it's going to explode really nicely. And I really do think it's going to break previous all-time highs on the LTC-BTC pair. So thanks for bringing that up. I do agree. It does look pretty bullish over in that area. So John says listing pumps aren't a thing anymore unless it's unannounced with little selling pressure. ETC and LTC are great examples of failed pumps on listing announcement. Well, I think ETC really pumped pretty crazy, didn't it, when it got listed on Gemini? Wendell says we got to break up someday. I think we will. And then we have I just saw a question, but I lost it. Where is the 75% line on the wedge? So Wendell wants to know where the 75% line on the wedge is. Drew Blood 21 says connection test. Are you having trouble connecting, dude? I see you. I see you loud and clear. Tech Lords, what's up, man? So ETC pumped 25 when it got to Coinbase. That's right. ETC got. That's right. That's what I meant. ETC and Coinbase. Edit name says been in crypto since 2014. I'm doing fine. So, what was I just about to look at? Wendell was asking about the. Wendell was asking about the 75%. So, let's see the 75% to the apex. Wow, messy chart. It's ridiculous. I hope everybody can get a sense of what's even happening on this. Let me move some lines. Move that line, move that line, move this line. All right, so 75% to the apex is right here. So Wendell asked where the 75% line to the apex is, and it's October 2nd. So right now that's it's 8 days away or so. So it doesn't mean that we're going to get a break there. It's just 75% to the apex on symmetrical triangles, really in any market that you're trading, is the average breakout area. But I mean, I've seen them when they break out right here. Right now we're at 68% to the apex, right? So I've seen them break on the downside or upside before the 75% and even after. So really, in the next couple weeks, it's going to just kind of maybe take some patience to really see. I believe. So this last symmetrical triangle, I did the math earlier. I'm pretty sure this was 81% to the apex that it actually broke, right? So 75% could have been here, and it was maybe another week or so when it actually broke on the downside or the upside. So October 2nd, it's fun to keep that date in mind in terms of this current symmetrical triangle that we're in. However, I would say even right now, being we're at 68% to the apex, right now is a good time to keenly watch what might happen next. So it will be really cool and exciting if we get a break above this triangle and we actually start breaking. And actually, I know I'm probably going over how long I wanted to do this, but I do want to bring this up. So we can take this previous swing high to this low, and everybody knows probably what I'm going to do, which is get an idea of where's that resistance area on the Fibonacci. And you can see the resistance area on the Fibonacci is that 786 to the 618. So there's that resistance area. So let me get rid of the Fibonacci. So there's our resistance area, and I'll zoom in a little bit for Bitcoin. So it intersects right with the upper end of this the trend line. So those price ranges to look out for key resistance trying to break that upper trend line for Bitcoin would be, $7,100, $6,900. And I know we talked about this the other day in the other day's video, but since we just went through all that technical analysis, I think it's a good area to look for in terms of resistance, and just keep it in mind right there at the top of this trend line. $6,900, $7,100 area. Can Bitcoin stinking break above it. We have to just wait and see. It would be great if we knew. We're close to those areas. However, first things first, we really need to stay above this 50 EMA line, and we'll see what happens. Those are my thoughts today, technical analysis. Time for me to wrap it up. The Tech Lord says, yes, it can, Dan. Tech Lords, I know you believe it can. I do too. I'm on the same page as Tech Lords. I think it can. The question is, will it? That's what nobody knows. That is what nobody knows. We have Sweden in the house. Ricard L87. Do a video on atomic swaps. Greetings from Sweden. I should get eCurrency Hodler from the Light School on here, and we should talk about atomic swaps and maybe do some live stream, ask some questions. So there it is. Time for me to bounce. I gotta go enjoy the day with family. Love all you guys. Really grateful for all you guys. Let's just sit back and watch. Follow me on Twitter if you're not on Twitter, and we will keep you updated on price movements. We'll keep you updated on all that good stuff if anything crazy happens. And seriously, later tonight, if the markets move and like something crazy happens, you better believe I'll probably be doing a live stream. So again, appreciate all of you. Drew Blood, Poseidon Lou, Tech Lords, thank you. You three, you guys are awesome. Thanks for helping out. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Appreciate each and every one of you. God bless.